Unit 1.6, basically, we want to discuss how you can use ICT in different areas. So we know this ICT currently being used in different areas. We are going to discuss how are we using this ICT in the different sections. Mainly we look at how you can use ICT in education. So as you know, currently heavily we are using this ICT in education, and again the engineering, and again the law and tourism, transportation, agriculture, health, businesses, and government. Like, we want to discuss how we can use this ICT in different areas in detail. So that is what we are going to discuss in Unit 1.6. So if you look at the ICT in the education, or basically electronic learning, so because of this ICT, there are a lot of advancement in the teaching and learning process. Now, starting from the presentation software, as you know, we have different softwares developed to present the content to the students in a way they can understand easily, because there are some lessons where it is very difficult to explain. In that case, we can use some presentation software, and nicely we can prepare the content, and where the students can learn the things very easily and accurately. So that is one of the things which is there in the ICT in the education. The other most important one is a simulation. Now, simulation is used in a lot of places. If you take the training, now initially we can do the training with the simulators. A lot of simulators are already being developed for different areas, especially when some real training is very expensive. If you do example, to train a pilot, as you know, planes are very expensive. So in that case, initial training can be done with the simulator that provides a similar environment conditions, just like he's really flying a plane. So the similar kind of environment is prepared. Then we can see what is his reactions. Like the softwares are available to train like that. And again, another example is the when you take this robotics programming. As you know, these robots are very expensive. When you're going to buy that, it is very expensive. Some of them millions of rupees. Therefore, there are some simulators developed. So if you are really willing to do some programming in the robotics, you can use some simulators. And with that simulators, you can do the programming and get the good knowledge. That's possible. So in that case, you are doing the testing not with the real robot, but in the simulator. Then there is no harm to your actual robot if something is wrong. So like you can see, there are a lot of places where you can use this ICT in different places. In addition to that, the ICT can be used. If you take this, another example is a virtual machine, virtual library. Now we discuss different terms related to the virtual things. A virtual means something not really available. That's the meaning of the virtual. Virtual means something not really available. We call as a virtual mesh. Virtual library means. Now, as you know, this library. Earlier, people used to go to the library whenever you want to find some information where you don't know. Before this internet is developed, people used to go to the library and read the books and get some information where he wants to expand their knowledge. But nowadays, you can see whenever you want to find some information, we don't go to the library. And it is very rare situation where the students and others are reading the books actually, because they used to use the mobile phone or the laptops and just use the Google. So whenever you want to find something, you just go to the Google search engine and search it, where you will get vast knowledge and where you get the outputs with the information in the format of the text, sometimes or images, sometimes a video. All the formats are available. Therefore, people used to go to the search engine like Google and search and get some information without going to the library. Therefore, you can see this Google search engine provides some necessary materials. Therefore, it looks like a library there, but it's not the real library. Therefore, we can call that's a virtual library. Virtual library. Virtual means something not really available. Now later we'll discuss the virtual memory, virtual machines. Yeah, that is virtual means something not clearly available. So this virtual library is another example where you can use the ICT in education. Whenever you want to find some tutorial, ebooks, whatever the things which you don't know, you can just go to the Google and search it. Therefore, the Google just work as a virtual library. And the other one is a virtual labs. That is, this is very useful nowadays, actually, these virtual labs, because students needs to go to the labs to do the experiment. If you take the chemistry, physics like subjects, we have some experiment. To do the experiments, we need to go to the library and do the experiments. But currently, there are some software developed. You can do all this experiment through that virtual labs, where all the chemicals and everything is there, and you can do any experiment and you can see the outputs. What are the colors, what is giving as output, like everything you can view. It's very good because we don't need the real chemicals and others to do the experiment. If something is wrong, there's no damage. So like you can see, there are a lot of places where using the ICT. Now this virtual lab is one of the example. Now these educational games are again used. There are some games prepared where whenever you play the game, what happens, you can learn some subject matters. I have seen there are some tools which have developed. When you play it, you learn the mathematics. And there are some games, when you play it, you learn chemistry. Like there are different tools developed. By using that, you can learn several subject things. Those are called educational games, where it will enhance the students' knowledge. The other one is online results. As you know, currently we can get our exam results through online. For all this examination, if you know your index number, you can just enter your index number, you can get your results, which is online. That is a big advantage actually. Earlier, we didn't have that facility. When the exam results are released, normally school principal needs to go to the department of examination and collect the result sheet. Once it is brought to the school, then only you can see the results early actually. But now when the exam results are released, no matter where you are, because when the exam results are released, sometimes you may be in another country. However, it doesn't matter. You can see your results if you know your index number. Through that, by adding that, entering that index number of the examination, you can easily view your result, where location is independent and time is independent. You can get your results that way. Then the other one is animation, the video lessons. So for these subject matters, remember, whenever there are some lessons where the teacher is unable to explain some of the parts actually, because we cannot visualize it. In that case, some of the animation, some of the videos can be prepared so that students can get the knowledge very easily with some video and animations. Like those are already available and developed. so that students can get some content or knowledge easily without any difficulties. The other one is online examination. This is also very important nowadays, actually, because some of the universities are conducting all the exams online. There are the advantages when you do the exams online. There are a lot of advantages. One is actually paper cost, printing cost, and the paper cost can be minimized because we don't need to prepare any print or print the papers. And again, especially the marking, especially when there are a large number of students, marking the papers, MCQ-like papers, can be automated. That is, when the exam is over, automatically you can get the Excel sheet with all the results. But if you're going to do this manually, sometimes it may take, if it is a MCQ also, it may take some time. But nowadays, when you conduct this online examination, for most of the exams where marking can be automated, for this MCQ, like essay type is not possible. It's not easy task to develop the automated things for the essay type questions, but for the MCQ can be automated. However, when you are conducting the exams online, we have to consider about different aspects actually, because students are not coming to the university or whatever the examination hall, because students are writing the answers at home. So therefore, different solutions we have identified for that actually. When you are conducting these exams nowadays, one option is here is that there are several solutions for that to avoid some plagiarism or impersonation, because now the students is writing at home, examiners are not there. So then we need to make sure student is writing the answer, not someone else. And we need to make sure student is writing the answers without referring the books. So for that, actually different solutions are now we are using for our exams that we are conducting online, most universities. That is one option is exam papers are prepared in the open book format, so that even the students read the books cannot find the answer. That is a one solution for one aspect. We have the open book examination questions, so that even you read the books, find some other material, it is difficult to get the answer, because sometimes you may to design something or you may do some calculation type thing. In that case, it is very difficult to refer something and do it. That is a one solution. Other solution for that plagiarism issues is that basically we are using a special browser. We have different special browser, which is we call as a lockdown browser. Whenever we use that lockdown browser, what happened? Students cannot run any other application. Students cannot download any other things. So you can't switch to the other web browser or any other application in your computer. Everything is locked. You have to stay on the same interface and do the things. You can't go to another one. So that is another solution, what we call the lockdown browser. And again, once the answer is written, you can't go back and change the answer. That is, backward navigation is disabled. Where students, once you write the answers, and again what happened, that answers, you can't go back and change the answers. And again, the questions generated randomly. That is, we have the question bank and the questions are generated randomly. Now the one students get one question, other students get another question. Two students will not get the same question at the same time. Even that is received, they can't go back and modify because backward navigation is disabled. You can't go to the previous answers question and modify it. That is other option. And the other one is we are using is actually to avoid that impersonation. We are using the proctoring mechanism. That means the student has to on the webcam when they are doing the exam. where webcam record all the things that you are doing in front of the computer. And if the student is missing, that will be notified to the examiner. And the examiner will get the complete video once you finish the exam. Then the examiner can view, and this automated system is there, which will identify whether there are something illegal going on. So that will be notified. Then the examiner can check that. So like those mechanisms are used for the currently this online examination, because there are universities, they are conducting these exams online. Most of the Sri Lanka and other countries, we have some exams online. Therefore, in that case, those mechanisms are used to avoid the plagiarism issues or to avoid the impersonations in the examinations. Those mechanisms are currently being used. And the other one is learning management systems, or what we call the LMS, learning management systems. That is a kind of website which provides all the teaching materials, where the students can access to this learning management system, get all the details of the study material and study, and they can upload their whatever the teaching materials or assignments, everything can be uploaded. So this is one of the example for the learning management systems for the place where I'm working at SLable IT. So this is one of the learning management systems. That is we call as a course web, which contains all the teaching materials. The students can log in using their username and password, and they can access to their teaching materials. And for each year, each subject, all the teaching materials are available here, and students can log into it and get all the teaching materials, and they can study whatever these necessary materials here. So which has all the details about lab sheets, and again the tutorials, everything is there. So with that, the students can get all these teaching materials through that, and then they can study. All necessary teaching materials are available. Lab sheet, reference book, everything is there, where the students can get that knowledge through this website. And again, all the lectures also, video recordings are also there, where students can get all the video recordings through this. They can download, or they can study the teaching materials through this LMS, so which is equal as LMS, Learning Management Systems, which provides all the teaching materials, where the students can get all the teaching materials and study. So this is one example for the learning management system. Those are the application of the ICT in the education, or what we call the e-learning or electronic learning. Then the next one is e-government or electronic government. So as you know, this e-government is a very large complex software systems, where they are trying to computerized most of the government organizations. Currently, what happened, most of the government organizations are not computerized. Here, the main objective is to computerize most of the government organization, so that the citizens can get all the services through online. Especially if you take the hospitals, and if you do the police stations and other most of the government places, you can see you have to wait long time period in the queues to get some services. Now those can be minimized once it is computerized everything. So that is the main objective of the e-government, where all the citizens' details and everything is a one single location. So that is initiated by this ICTA, Information Communication Technology Agency. They have already started this project. Where mainly they are providing the 4 services: G2C, G2B, G2G, and G2E. G2C means government to citizen. G2B means government to business. G2G means government to government. G2E means government to employee. When you write like this, always the first one is a seller, second one is a buyer. Now, when you say G2C, government is selling, citizens are buying. If you take the vehicle revenue license, which can be done in online, government is selling, the citizens in the countries are buying that revenue license for the vehicles. G2B, government is selling some product through online, some business organizations are buying that through online. G2G, the government is selling something to another government in another country. That is also done online. G2E, government to employee, government is selling something to the employees in the organizations. Like those are some of the services that can be done online by automating all the government organization. That is what we call the e-government. It's a very complex, large project actually. Then this is another very important area, as you know, the health sector, how you can use ICT in the health. So there are a lot of places where you can use ICT in the health, especially when you take the diagnosis tools. We have the blood sugar testing tool, blood pressure testing tool, and then EEG, ECG, MRI, CAT machines, like those devices are there where you can get some digital images, some part of the body, like a lot of information which are necessary for the doctors can be taken through by using this diagnosis tool. These are working with the IT-based systems. In addition to that, telemedicine. Telemedicine, the idea is that a doctor and the patient can be connected through online systems. So in that case, the doctor and the patients are two different places. Sometimes the doctor is unable to go to the patient locations. So that kind of situation, you can use this telemedicine. Or some instant the emergency situation where the doctor is unable to come to that place. In that case, we have to have the online communication and get the services or get the medical treatment. That is another example. And telesurgery. There can be a situation where you want to conduct some surgeries. However, the specialist doctors are in one location. The patient is another location. The other set of doctors are conducting the surgery. The specialists are just monitoring it and give the feedbacks. So that's called the telesurgery. And teletraining also can be done. The specialist doctors can train the others through online. Consultation also there now. You can see currently in the e-channeling also that facilities available nowadays actually. Because nowadays sometimes the people doesn't like to go to the hospitals. Now we have the video channeling also in the e-channeling where you can communicate with the doctor through online actually. That is already available in the e-channel website. Where the doctor can see the patient and patient can see the doctor, and doctor will ask whatever the questions, and then you can give the symptoms, and then based on that doctor will identify the medical treatments. So that is currently available here also. But the telesurgery thing is a bit difficult because where the connection informations are very important. Because while the surgery is going on, if there is a disconnection, that will be a big problem. Because the doctors who are conducting the surgery may not know how to do it because they are always getting some advice from the expert. Therefore, especially this telesurgery is very critical where we have to make sure there is no connection issue. Connection is always available. That is very important in the telesurgery. Then the other aspect of the ICT is the virtual doctor. As we discussed earlier, virtual library, the virtual doctor means there is no doctor actually. But your computer should work as a doctor. So these are we call as expert system. As you know, the doctors are expert. Now we want to transfer that knowledge to a system. So that is what you call the virtual doctor, where the system can ask the questions from the patient, and based on that, the system can identify what kind of disease he has. Like that's called the virtual doctor. There is no doctor, but your computer system or program is working as a doctor. E-channeling I think most of you have worked with, I think, have some idea about the channel where you can channel the doctors and get the details. You can make the appointment through that e-channel. Then the last one is another very important thing, patient records. This is what is missing in Sri Lanka, patient records. If you take the example now, if you want to admit, let's say you are going to admit a patient to the government hospital. If you take the same patient to the hospital 10 times, what happened? They will ask the same question 10 times from that patient. That is, you need to provide the name, address, and other detail 10 times. Because they don't have the proper patient management systems. Now, this e-government, one of the things is patient records. They are all the citizens' details are in one location. Once the ID number is given, we can get all the patient records. The doctor can see the entire historical background of the patient from the date he is born. That is what we call the patient records. So that is currently not available in Sri Lanka. Even the private hospital also, that is not available. So that is what they are going to build with the e-government software. And the other one is the businesses. How you can use ICT in the businesses, as you know, there are a lot of advancement in the businesses. One is e-banking, where all the banking transactions can be done through online, and the ATM machine, where you can do the transaction at any time. As you know, currently, normally banks are closed after 3:30, but with the ATM, you can do all the transaction through that ATM. And digital money, which is another kind of special area which is trending nowadays, called the digital money, where they want to represent the money in the digital format by using the concept called as a cryptography. We'll discuss that one later, the cryptography. Using that actually, because the main thing is when you represent the money digitally, the security aspect. So for that one, we are using some techniques. We discuss some encryption, decryption techniques under the cryptography. So those techniques are used to represent the money in the digital format. And the e-commerce is another area where you can buy and sell the product and services through online. So the advantage is you can buy some products from other countries without going to that country. You can just place the order online, then they will deliver the product to you. So then the advantage is you can buy some product from other countries easily by making the payment. So the e-commerce, some problems are actually sometimes when the product is received, it may be damaged. Sometimes you have seen something, but when you receive, you may get different thing. Like that kind of problems are there in the online shoppings. And online banking also same, you can do all the transactions through online. You can open the account in one country. You can do the transaction in another country. And you can do all the transactions through the mobile phone nowadays. Using a mobile phone, you can do all the transaction. You can transfer the money. You can deposit some money. You can pay the bills. A lot of things can be done through your mobile phone applications. So like there are a lot of advancement where you can do all this transaction through online. The other one is agriculture. In the agriculture also, we can use this ICT. Especially one is RFID tags, that is radio frequency identification devices tags. Normally that is used to trace the animals. Because some instance, if it is very large farms, we want to find out where is the animals. In that case, we can use a tags to trace and find the location of the animals. Other one is IoT with greenhouse. Now this Internet of Things, IoT, is another big area nowadays, which is called as IoT, Internet of Things, where their main objective is to control everything through internet. So there are applications developed using your mobile phone. You can control your house, whatever your home maybe the conditions actually. You can check whether all the doors are closed properly, windows are closed properly, or the lights are closed properly. Like you can check a lot of things through your mobile phone. That is IoT is one of the area where we can use whatever the devices that you are using to manage everything through the internet. This greenhouse concept also same, where you can control what are the necessary conditions for the plants through IoT based systems. And early warning systems are the one which is very important for the farmers. If some diseases are spreading, that information can be delivered to the farmers very earlier so that they can protect their farms or the plants. That is another important thing in the agriculture. And the weather prediction tools. So we have a very optimized weather prediction tool. With that, actually, they can exactly predict weather conditions, because these weather conditions are very important for the farmers. Not only farmers, others also important. Now, actually, there are some very accurate weather prediction tools are nowadays available. They have developed those using some data analytics methods, especially this big data analytics. Using that, they can make some predictions for the weather conditions. And some issue you can find the robotics arms for the planting, seeding, and harvesting. You can use some robotic applications for that. And again, farmers needs the market access to get the current price details. That is also currently available online. Now, most of the other countries actually they are using a lot of robotics arms or robotics tools to planting, harvesting, and seeding. Like for those purposes, they are using these robotics tools actually. Sri Lanka, it is very less. We can find these robotics tools, but most of the countries, you can see they are using these kind of tools. And the engineering, also we can use this ICT, especially CAD, computer design, because for especially the civil engineers, they need to do the a lot of designing, and the mechanical engineers also we have some designing. So that can be done easily using these tools. And some of the industry control systems where manufacturing process can be done with these control systems. And mostly robotic systems are used for automate some of the works. And again, the like software simulations also used to train some of the aspects in the engineering. Like you can see, there are a lot of places we can use the ICT in engineering. And the tourism, also we can use this ICT heavily. If you take the electronic ticketing, electronic booking or reservations, and GI systems, where the tourist can get all the details, and again, some guidance systems. So the hotel bookings and other reservations can be done online. So like there are again a lot of places where you can use ICT in the tourism. And the transportations, where you can do the booking or reservation of the bus, trains using the online systems. And the CCTV also can be used to monitor some problems or issues with the transportations. And there are some systems where road violations can be automatically detected, especially this speed violation rules. There are some countries, they have implemented these cameras. When the speed is increased the given limit, automatically detects and get the camera, get the photo of the vehicle, and deliver to the whatever the fine to the person's home directly. Then the other one is the electronic gates or automated gates. As you know, currently in the highway, entering, you have to stop the vehicle and get the receipt. And when you're exiting, you have to make the payment. But which can be automated. In some other countries, actually, it is automated. When you're entering the highway, you don't need to pay anything, or you don't need to get any tickets or anything. Because whenever you are entering, automatically that will get the image of the vehicle registration number and identify the owner, and it is directly deducted from your account. So no need to stay in a queue to make the payment or to get the queue. to get the tickets. And through the mobile phone also, you can do all these transactions. And the parking systems also developed. When you are going to some places, as you know, this parking is a big issue. So that also can be automated so that the people can identify the parking slots, whether they are available before you enter that location. That kind of systems are already developed. And the electronic law is again, CCTV is very useful for identifying some problems or issues or misbehaviors. And computerized document management systems also used in the law to identify some of the necessary information through that systems. And once it's digitalized, you can get all the information easily through a software systems. And in sports, one thing is for the training, you can use the simulators. And again, we have some AI systems used in these Olympic Games, especially for some of the games where the timing and other things are very important. In that case, you can use some AI systems. And online information, sport information systems, this is very crucial for different sports items where we want to get all the details. If you take the crickets, you can see, you want to see how much marks scored by one person. Like all the details must be in the one location. Doesn't matter where you are playing it. And again, third umpire in the cricket, also kind of IT-based systems, where you can use ICT heavily in the sports also. In the media and the journalism, also we can use ICT. And there are some tools to prepare the reports easily. And you can do the formatting and other things easily. And there are some tools to manage the languages. So that also very useful. And again, there are some tools to do the broadcasting of a messages easily. And entire content can be managed and identify the necessary thing easily. And some tools are there to identify the fake news. Like there are some tools which will identify that. So like there are a lot of things which you can use the media and the journalism. And then another term that you should know, the digital divide. We know if you take a country, within the country, there are some places where all the technology, all the connections, everything is there available. But in the same country, there are some areas where there are no connections or there are no resources, internet connection, computers, nothing. So there you can see the same country, you can digitally divide. Some areas, all the facilities, all the required necessary resources for the internet and the computers are available. But in the same country, there are some places they don't have enough network connections or whatever the resources to work with the computers and the internet. So then you can see the country and the world, you can divide like that. Because there are some countries, they are very rich, all the resources are available. However, there are some countries which are very poor. So in that case, they don't have any resources. So that entire world and the entire country can be divided digitally. How are they accessing to the internet and the resources? That is what we call the digital divide. However, we want to minimize this digital divide to have the equal resources for everyone. The other problem with the this IT-based system is electronic waste. As you know, once you use some resources like mobile phone, laptops, and monitors, CFL bulbs, like a lot of things, once you used it, once they are damaged or once it's come to unusable format, normally they are added to the environment. So then they are what we call as electronic waste or e-waste. That will be a big issue because these some of the electronic devices may have some toxics or whatever the chemicals which are very damageable for the human body. So therefore, we have to be very careful when you are working with this whatever the devices once you used when you are adding them to the environment. That may create a lot of issues to the human body. So how we can minimize? There are 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. That means we must reduce the electronic usages. The one is reuse. Try to reuse the existing device without throwing away to the environment, or try to make it recycle. So those are the mechanisms we can use to solve the problem. Now, these are some of the job opportunities for the IT field. One is the software quality assurance engineer. So that is one of the good position with very high salaries actually. The other one is database administrator, where you have good knowledge in the databases, and the software engineers and with application developers. Like there are a lot of job opportunities, software architect, like it is a bit high level, graphic designers, programmers, system analysts, network administrators, IT consultant. Like in the IT, actually, there are a lot of job opportunities with very high salaries. Actually. So this is just a comparison of the salaries for general software engineers based on some program languages. So you can see the probably each person can earn close to 500,000 per month. That means close to 1 million rupees. So that is available in Sri Lanka also for the software engineers. Actually, the salary scale. Once you have the good experience, not like other companies, other jobs, it is very difficult to go to the salary like 1 million. But here, very quickly, you can go to that salary level within some amount of years. Very quickly, you can go to that high level of salaries with the good knowledge in the IT. Remember, the things covered in this ICT A level is very important. That is covering a lot of things which will be useful for you to be in future software engineer or software developer or whatever the software related IT related jobs where the salaries are very high with compared to the other jobs.